was big deer down in the field on Flats there by Schofield's.
Oh,
This
okay.
way,
Yeah.
big friggin' rack out there in the field.
Really? Yeah, I'm hoping it's in my area, I don't think it's 12. Although I think the soybean that he's planted are really feeding off of it.
I took, look, Jordy and Cassie, I took, the first 3 days, then I had Saturday, Sunday off anyway.
Yeah,
And then I took Monday, Tuesday, and I said I have to go back to work on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Cause my boss is having knee surgery that week, so
uh-huh.
that way we're not,
Yeah,
hopefully I don't need any of those days after the first comes off. But
there's like, I was looking at it, it's like 5 days, I think, I've any deer and be in this district.
I haven't looked
It's
yet.
like Wednesday to Sunday,
yeah,
Wednesday to, yeah, it's, I was like, Saturday.
We got a mother and 2 skippers running around the yard. They chase them off, they're eating my fruit trees.
Yeah,
don't know whatever I
Yeah.
told you I'd get shot. George printed out like, she pushed it.
hi, Marianne.
Hi, good evening.
Don't see Christine. How's things coming along in Vermont?
Oh, the Vermont folks, oh, the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail took a big hit with that storm.
I saw pictures of the bridge.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And other bridges look like they're islands because the bridge is standing, but the land that was attached to the bridge is gone.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Hold on.
yeah, they opened up the easternmost section, maybe about 17 miles, and they opened up the westernmost section out of Swanton, maybe 20 something miles. But the middle section is going to take a while, probably not, you know, they might get little pieces of it done, but it looks like it might not be done till next year. Or then it's going to be, you know, engineering projects to figure out how to fix some of these spots. So
So the governor's gonna ride partway, pick up at a helicopter, drop it off again and ride the rest of it?
I guess so. Yeah, that's it. They need to have some kind of a shuttle service, but at least it's been open partway because there were a number of businesses that were, you know, really looking forward to the people coming through and the shuttle services and things. So at least now they, you know, they do have a significant number of miles there. It provides a you know, something that people will come to visit Vermont and do. You know, so it took a while, but they opened up what they could, and actually I'd say it's not too bad in timing. The governor was supposed to ride the 93 miles. He is a cyclist, and he was going to ride 93 miles for the grand opening on July 15th. And there was going to be a, you know, group of people behind him. I was going to do 50. I didn't think I could do 90. But you know, they worked really hard to get everything all perfect. And then 4 days before that, it got wiped out.
Yeah, I know that the governor was supposed to ride that and you're like, I don't think that's a good thing.
Not a good, no. You would, some places it looked like the Lamoille Valley Canoe Trail. So hopefully we didn't get any more damage, you know, on the Ammonoosuc. It was looking pretty good the last I saw it.
Seen anything really to say so? Yeah,
Yeah, I went down toward Bath, and there's nothing,
nothing bad.
no. I mean, there's a couple of washouts that have been there, but nothing new.
Nothing. big.
Okay, yeah, good.
Where do you guys jump onto the railroad bed and where do you jump off?
So do you get on in Windsor? Woodsville? Do you start on the Woodsville part of that and then come to Lisbon area? Not hearing me. Mary Ann, dude, sorry.
What's that?
You get on in Woodsville?
Yes, we do. Yeah, Woodsville, and then we get off in Lisbon. Just for a break, we get on the road there, Bishop Road, and come out at Lyman, and then go back onto River Road, and then hop back on the trail. I don't know, a mile and a half or so down River Road.
Okay.
We're just curious, just in general, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Have you seen cyclists out there this year?
When I was out, I've seen some, yeah.
Yeah. There are quite a few that I know of. You know, not everybody tells me that they're out there. I usually try to keep some track because it's nice to have some numbers, you know, when you're applying for a grant or something, you say, you know, people are using it, so it's worth putting a little money in, you know?
Yeah.
So, but not everybody reports back to me. I give them a patch if they finish the whole thing. So that helps me to count them, but not everybody cares whether they have a patch or not. So, you know, I've got this year about 58 patches that I've put out, sent out already.
Huh? Great.
I was kind of waiting on to see if Christine was coming, and I forgot that she was coming.
Reported, so.
Right,
Well, I set tomorrow off, so we're gonna go riding. I saw the note about the road closure.
so. The key to that is it's only gonna be closed until it's technically noon, it'd probably be open before that. So. They're putting a huge culvert, across the- they're gonna dig the whole road up and put it back in.
Take a chance after lunch and,
Yep, oh, they've only got it till noon, so
okay.
if it's not done by noon, then they gotta open it back up.
At least half the road.
So.
Yeah.
there.
Cool.
All right, well, I'll call the meeting to order. I'll do the secretary report. Which secretary's report includes the treasury report. So back on 6/13. Our balance was 11,034.66. We had a bunch of stuff which left our balance after that. No, this is this week, so I believe. Oh, that was last week. So that balance then was 6,202.67. With some GIA funding waiting on coming back, which kind of didn't. Memberships, we had 308 memberships. Of that, it's 160 families, 92 singles. And basically minutes from the last meeting, trail master report, did that. Too much rain to put down for calcium chloride, cut up a couple of trees hanging over the trail. Worked on GIA, worked on gates and posts, and we'll resume when it stops raining, if it ever stops raining. 3 new potential properties to be opened up, not really this year. Bass Select Board declined everything. Allowed us to revisit a short section of French Pond Road. There's another public hearing on 14 or 15. Sorry, another public hearing was 14 or 15. 4 and 3 against. And they wound up approving that short section of French Pond Road. Woodsville Select Board approved a short section on Goose Lane. Tony asked if there was a way to get from Monroe to the trails over Hunts Mountain. Lisbon adopted an ordinance so you can get to the railroad tracks. Lyman has not, so no legal way. Tony can get a map by emailing Matt, Trailmaster. New business, from last time, vice president position is available. Ollie Brooks has stepped down. Also, Ollie was selling his ATV. I don't know if he's done that yet. And anyone that was interested in the vice president position, was to contact me, but has not done yet. Matt showed a couple cup and tumbler with a new logo. The 20-ounce tumbler is $25. The coffee mug comes in 12 ounces or 15 ounces. And shipping, etc. GAA started spending money strategically. 5,000 was paid to Hammerland. We deviated from some of this from what we talked about, but next is 62,000. $500 for gravel, and much money is retroactive to June 1st. We're hoping to do cash advances for purchases that we can get 100% back and then purchase the tractor near the end of September. And Mary Ann talked about match funding, reimbursement, et cetera, et cetera. Marianne asked about whether we were hearing positive comments on the trails and haven't heard of any issues. Nothing positive, nothing negative, which is a good thing. Any destruction, the big rainstorms, no flooding, Vermont was very severe. Grant money may allow scope to change, to help pay for repairs. And Chief will be doing some, some restoration in late September. And I'll keep Marianne up to date on work being done soon. And the meeting adjourned at 7:47. Any questions? Take a motion to accept them as I kind of spilled out.
Make a motion, to accept the minutes as read.
I'll second that.
Yeah, Marianne. Very good. I'll throw the treasury report in here, which is kind of scary when we get all done. The balance on July 11th was 6202.67. We had some bank deposits, $315 from Nova. We spent, we sold, must be 4 tumblers, because there's $20 in that was deposited from the tumblers, and 2 separate memberships that were done as well. Then the other deposit, which was kind of nice, was a state deposit for $13,913.50, which went in. So the total deposits are $14,228.50. Almost immediately after that, we did a wire transfer for the trailer of $17,320. In that wire transfer was a $25 fee additional. We also had $47.25 at Agway for stakes for the new properties. And we have $31.80 for copies and more for stickers. It was a trial run. There was 100 stickers. Joe put one on the back of the Durango. So that's this month, so sometime after July 11th, and it's faded enough where I wouldn't dare give them out. So, if you were using them inside, that's fine, but get it outside, they'll have to do something else. We'll revisit that. She said to try and figure it out.
Yeah.
So our total bills was $17,424.05, giving us a new balance of $3,007.12. Again, there's, so we're still waiting for a $5,000 check to come back. Somewhere after August 1st. And when I caught it on August 8th, the state decided for no really good reason to change our address from our 3-year-old address to our former address at a post office box in Bath that had been used for 3 years. So that was kind of fun. But anyway, I've got that fixed. They're gonna reissue the check. It got sent back to the bank. So,
What was the total? Right now?
balance,
Yeah.
$3,007.12. So 3,007.12. So, that's where we're at with the treasury report. Like I say, we're gonna have to be very strategic and careful as we go on what we spend other than grant money. So, and obviously we know that, so. Any questions on what we're spending it? Like I said,
We'll talk about
Yeah.
further down. the road.
perfect, yeah, so, memberships, it says we had no change, but I think we had like 2 extras, but I'll say no change because of the.
The only thing I'll add to that, and you don't have the money yet, and the club doesn't, it's sitting in the account, is we have $30 worth of t-shirt
T-shirt stuff,
sale, so.
cool. So, very good. Shop management report, not much, other than it's raining.
A lot of rain.
Dust is good.
So I went out and graded from behind Errol Peters' place,
Right, yep,
right here in Landaff. Down to right across from where the natural spring is, I went down a little further.
Okay.
There's the driveway that goes across the paved.
That
The
would-
guy's house sits on, kind of opens on a little island.
Yeah.
So I graded from there, that section.
How did that grade plane
I
work?
usually grade plane and I thought it worked great, actually. The only thing is that that section behind Arrow's got a lot of big gravel still. So, and the way that that grader plane works, it almost pulls it back in to level things off.
Mhm.
So I think when we have it graded, push that stuff way out, and then once you get the hard pack stuff, that leveled out pretty good, so.
Perfect.
So yeah, I did that, I drove over that last week, and it was holding up okay.
Good.
So far, and then I went out and bush hogged the front section of the loops, well, on the right loop, the Sandoval loop. When you first go down, it splits, so you can see that it's a one-way, and you can see the actual sign. So I brush hogged that all the way down that front section, and then I went to the back section where we kind of have a pull off where you can look at the river. I opened that up and looked that down. The rest of it is overhanging pretty good, but I figured we wait until the tractor and mower for that, so I could still range, so. And then I went down to the left-hand loop, the John Elliott loop, and the front part of that is
Slightly wet.
very wet. So I don't know if anybody's gone through it, but I started taking a tractor because I was gonna try and break a dam off on one side or the other, and I went in very little and it was up over the tractor axle literally, so I was backed out because I was not getting stuck in that.
No.
But yeah, there's a lot of mud there.
Always is.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, there's a lot, but I think ever since we had that graded out last year, when Kevin, Charlie went in and leveled
Right.
that out.
Yeah.
It really, it's a big area.
Made it worse.
I don't know if it made it worse, but
Had no place to go.
yeah, because before that was kind of sloped coming around,
Mhm.
so it kind of sloped, it gave you a place to get off. It's kind of small. I mean, it's not deep on the left side if you're going in, you gotta stay to the left, but I would not dare go in and go right. Like you're supposed to go. I wouldn't dare do that. But that's,
So,
I don't have a lifting machine and big tires either, so maybe somebody is
see what
there.
happens. Maybe somebody will go in and maybe they'll make a big enough rut and they'll make a drain, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, those are kind of the things that I went out, did this.
Yeah.
This past month.
So that's that. So old business, we'll do old business. Again, we're still looking for someone interested in meeting the vice president. Basically, vice president just runs the meeting if I can't be here, which is what it is, but. So we've started soliciting for the poker run raffle donations. I usually drop them off a letter and then I go back like the week after, or this happens to be 2 weeks after because I couldn't go out the week after. 95% of the time you wind up dropping off another flyer and it's, in other words, they need a reminder and the second person taking it is usually the one that's like, oh, I saw that, but I don't know where it went. So anyway, we'll go back and check that out this weekend if somebody's ankle's feeling any better. And you have some information from, is it Nalt's up there?
Yeah, so I reached out to Nalt's and Littleton, well, it used to be Littleton Motorsports,
Right.
to see if they were willing or could donate anything toward the poker run raffle. So they came back and said, what are you looking for? And I said, well, really any item. And then I kind of inquired about like maybe doing a machine raffle in the fall. So, because it was the same person that was kind of in charge of that. And so what she came back with was they were donating two, one for the poker run raffle and one for a raffle later on of the Kawasaki Electros. So it's a electric balance bike / dirt bike for kids. It's for that to start them on dirt bikes. And to teach them kind of I mean, you can use it as a balance bike, which I know are a big thing now. They're worth $1,000 a piece. And yeah, so they were nice enough to donate two of them.
Yeah.
So we can do one as raffle during the poker run, or start tickets now and then draw the raffle at the poker run. And then another one we can do in the fall or in the spring kind of raffle, so. Very nice of them to be able to do that.
So we were thinking if we did, $20 ticket and did a max of 200 tickets, gives you $2,000 each, basically. Hopefully we can do that at the poker ring, or try to do it ahead of time, like we heard there.
Yeah.
And so our thought was close it the day before the poker run electronically,
Yeah,
and then you'll have names, the rest of the tickets that we haven't sold, the poker run, and then draw that first one at the poker run. If we sell out on online tickets right off, we'll just make another one for the second machine.
Yeah.
And it won't be a fall raffle, it'll be a raffle.
I've got a question for you. Would something like a gift certificate to one of the bakeries or restaurants along the way, would that be a good donation?
That is fine. So what we do is we take donations of any kind, gift cards, et cetera, and we do a raffle on the table at the poker run.
Mhm.
So if you have a gift card, that's fine. We'll add that in.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do that for you.
Very good. Would you? So we have a donation letter too.
Mhm.
Julie did. I can try to see, and I won't tell her that she'll do it, but I can try to see if I can scan this and I can email it to you if you'd like to.
Sure.
It does have an EIN and
Okay, that's good. And remind me the date of the poker run again?
it's September
16th, isn't it?
I believe.
It's September.
Something like that.
Yep, September 16th.
Okay, that's fine. I was thinking if it was, I just something in my head said August, I'm thinking, oh, boy, I better get over there.
Matt's gonna fix it right now.
Yeah, I'll scan it in.
Okay. Okay.
So we'll get you one electronically, just so you have, what you're asking for.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
okay. So. That's all I really had other than fundraising. New business, I don't have a lot. We're waiting for $5,000 to pop back in. And once the $5,000 pops back in, the strategic part of that is we're gonna purchase the Lane Shark. Only because they won't do multiple payments, you have to do one payment. So that's the next one. And then obviously gravel and et cetera after that. So.
Yeah, so we submitted the billing form for Hammerland, which was the $5,000 we got
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
We paid out the 17,320, which was our portion of the tractor. We've submitted the billing form for that, because we have to show that we paid our portions before the state will give us a cash advance on it. So we requested the 19,000 for the cash advance of the tractor. So now we're waiting for the check to come back to us so we can transfer that to the dealership. And then we'll ask for the remaining 6,000, I think, or something.
So by the
Yes,
time we get all done, the tractor will be paid for in 3 payments.
yeah. The Lane Shark hopefully will be paid for in one payment,
That'll be one payment.
and we'll get about, what did we figure, $3,000 back, I
It
think.
was 11, so it's 6,000,
Yeah,
so 2,200, so.
yeah, our portion was like 2,200 and the total was 6,000, so we'll get that difference back from the
Right.
state.
That'll come back to the state,
Yes,
so.
and then the other thing that we did for GIA was we submitted a change in scope for the lumber that we use for the bridge.
We were gonna,
We're gonna replace the some of the boards on the trestle bridge in Bath, but Clint's crew does not have the manpower to do that this year, so,
we would have lost that.
Yeah.
Lost that money, so we did a change of scope. And that money is now changed into gravel and on the rail trail.
Yeah.
So we'll just have an extra 3,000 this year Was it 3,000?
And it's like $3,500 that will put more gravel.
More gravel on
We
it.
can,
We can't have enough on it anyway, you know, what I mean, I'd like to see that whole rail trail done in 5 days right there.
yeah,
After a few years,
Did you get a hold of Lockwood, see if you'd be interested in
what's that?
the Rob Lockwood and Bridge? Did you get a hold of him?
Oh, I did, only because it was supposed to go to DOT anyway, so when he didn't want to do anything with it, I
Okay.
just left it. That doesn't mean I can't ask for it again in a different time. But, that's not your guys' section over there,
No.
that's Lisbon's. But, I don't know if I want to put a curb across that this year. But the track spread out quite a ways, so it's probably.
the only other thing that we have with the tractor that we changed, so we originally quoted a 48 horsepower tractor, which was it was a Ford 94 model. I guess that's hard to come by now. So for the same price, they were having a deal on the next model up, which was the 574. So, and it's the same chassis and frame, it just has a turbo on it versus a non-turbo. So it's going up to a 55 horsepower tractor. So,
Yeah, same everything, just more horsepower.
yeah. So we had to do a change in scope for that, just even though it's the same cost, we did it just to cover everything on the basis for stuff, so.
Did you
I-
need it? Mary,
I have
anyone?
a question, yeah, on the match funding for the project. Do you have a feeling of the timing for that? Just so I can make sure my budgeting and everything is, all ready to go.
So the match, so they're actually gonna, I believe they're gonna start grading next week, but the match won't be for a little while. I expect that I would see. You think October, when we send them for the edit? Cause we gotta do, so it's kind of odd the way things happen. We've got to put out.
It's like a week process for every, like, we send our information to the state, they send it back, and then we have to send it to them, and then they send it back. So I would say it's probably like a 3-week process
Yeah.
for each project, so we're
We're probably in September. I mean, in October, excuse me.
probably beginning of October, maybe.
And you
Okay,
can- If you're gonna match it, it's fine at any point, you know,
Okay.
so.
because one of the thoughts was, if this goes back and forth and you did do $1,000 this week and $2,000 next week or something, it might be easy for me to just send you a check, have
Yeah,
it in your account. And then, then if I'm away or something, it doesn't really matter because you've already got it.
right, so I mean, you can do that if you want, so as far as a match, you can do it at any point you'd like. We're gonna proceed as that you hadn't ever offered for that, and then we'll just take your match at any point, if that makes sense to you.
Okay, what do you think would be, if I sent you something, say, the end of the month or beginning of September, what kind of number are you talking about that would be, good to get this started?
What's the match, his reading, remember, 11,000. Sorry, hold on, we're trying to remember. I didn't write it down, so I can't- I know
And we could talk about it later if you want to, calculate it out.
Sorry, portion. So 4,400
So-
is the grading.
So our match for the gravel and the grading itself is about $4,500.
Mhm.
So if, I don't know what you'd like, you just do what you'd like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to hold you over a barrel on it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna look, I think I can do most, if not all of that.
Okay,
I know last year I participated 5,000,
Yeah, I believe-
to help out.
yeah, I
and-
believe it was a check for 5,000 last year, which is good, so.
Yeah, so I mean, I think I can do this 4,500. I'll, work it out with my treasurer and everything and if I,
I know
I-
you got a lot of stuff going in Vermont that you need that stuff for too, so.
well, I'm not, I don't have to fund Vermont, luckily. So, yeah, there'd be a few more zeros at the end of that thing. So,
Oh, yeah.
what I am funding is the match funding for Clint's project to extend the Amanuset another 2.6 miles to Wing Road.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure the bids are going to come in more expensive than usual. So I just have to work out a few things, but I think you can figure that money's going to come to you, but it might be the end of this month. something
That's
like-
fine, like I say, we'll just, and not trying to say anything here, I'll just spend as we would normally see yours, and then when it comes, we're good, so.
Yeah, because that way, you can just do it. You don't have to wait. You need to send that check in, you do it. It's already in your account and set. So that's kind of the way I like to work anyway. So good. The other thing, while I've got you right there, I just wanted to ask, last year, I think it was, there was a lot of growth around the gate posts. And I went out there with, one of my board members, and we clipped some of the grasses and things around the gate posts so that they're visible to people. Are you having the same issue this year, or are you having issue with litter? Because I want to, put together my board and some friends and do something to help out. What can we do?
But, so I haven't seen much litter,
Yeah, trash, I asked if I had seen it, it is overgrown, the gate posts are being overgrown. I know that Clint, when I talked to him before, he at some point, and again,
never
this
know.
was before everything up north washed out. He had, I think, $15,000 set aside to mow whatever that $15,000 gets him, on the railroad bed. I don't have a timeline on that. I don't even know if he does. He was gonna contract it out, but, so that's part of it. The other part is it's now it's gonna get graded here in the next week or two.
I think they're gonna start, so just so you know, and I'll let you know, I think they're gonna start grading Tuesday or Wednesday this week coming up.
Okay, and as far as the cyclists on there, will they be able to get around the grader? I certainly put it out on Facebook and on the website and everything to be careful.
So he's gonna start on the Woodsville end and come north.
Mhm,
And he's gonna wind up getting interrupted at the Iron Bridge in Bath, though.
Yeah.
The Iron Bridge in Bath.
mhm,
And he'll then have to drive around to get to the opposite side of the bridge to continue north. But
mhm.
if you're a cyclist, I hate to say it this way, you probably should just dismount, make sure that, because he's gonna be grading away from you. Try to see if you can get his attention. Usually they're pretty good. But sometimes they get tunnel vision, as I call it.
Mhm.
Just make sure they know, like, the operator knows you're there. And then once he knows you're there, he's just gonna stop. He's
Mhm.
gonna let you guys go ahead. And you guys can just do your thing and go along. It is a pretty decent sized machine. Apparently it's one size larger than the States
Mhm.
grading there, so it shouldn't actually take as long. And the guy running it was 35 or 40 years grader operator for the state of New Hampshire. So I think he's probably okay with knowing what he's doing.
That's great.
But
So
So,
this is the grading in preparation for the new surface?
they're gonna grade and gravel at the same time.
Ah, okay.
The thought was that we were gonna gravel from the opposite way, right? From
Starting at the Bath Covered Bridge.
coming first, so where the washout is, where they had the washout that we fixed. We're gonna start graveling there and come north with as much gravel as we can get. Hopefully we'll get to the tunnel.
Wow.
And then and if it goes to the tunnel, we're good. We'll start putting it on the opposite end, because I don't wanna go back and revisit something already. Cause
Right.
so we'll start graveling after the stuff we put down here in Lisbon.
Yeah, good. And you'll be able to maybe go by the train station there and the houses, because I know that, they've got the dust issue, the people by the houses there.
Yeah, so there's a historic catch basin in behind the train station in there somewhere, so I have to be really careful when I dump into there. But that's gonna be, hopefully we'll get there too.
Okay, good. That's great. Hopefully, yeah, exactly. And
Like I say, we'll see how far it goes and go from there.
okay, so just so I have it straight, they'll start with the grading this week. And once they start grading in the Bath covered bridge area, then the gravel will start going down.
So what they'll do is they'll grade, and then, I don't know if it'll be the next day, but they'll grade so far, and then the gravel will show up and they can spread the gravel as they go.
Okay, great. And that's gonna be chief and it's gonna be the same nice hard pack material.
Exactly what we had before, so it should be all good. Same pit, same everything, so.
Good, excellent, because that's, you know, when I've been checking on it after these big storms and everything, and
It doesn't,
The move is almost like concrete.
it's like concrete, exactly. Yeah, I love it. So this is great. And the fact, I mean, how would we know whether there's dust or not this year? There's been so much rain. It was like,
Oh,
Yeah.
we were pleasantly surprised we didn't have to put much calcium chloride down, so.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so your question about, you know, the overgrowth on the gates.
Yeah.
So Clint's gonna be mowing part of it, whatever Clint doesn't get to mow, or if, our tractor, because it's in stock, so once we're done playing mail tag with the state, you know, to go through the process of the GIA. Once we take delivery of that and the Lane Shark, which we'll buy outright, and that'll come
That'll come
pretty quick. That will allow us to go out and start mowing back the railroad bank, you know,
Okay.
as well. So between the two of us, hopefully we'll get to everything this year, to get it really kind of pushed back so all the posts are visible and to give everybody kind of a place to pull off. Because right now you're pulling off into the sticks, so.
right, yeah. I mean, one of the other things that I've mentioned, you know, when I look at the before and after pictures, that this grading and surfacing has widened the trail. So it's
Mhm.
probably much easier for two ATVs to pass. And it's much easier for people, you know, the ATVs to, you know, give a little space for the bikes or the bikes to get out of the way. So it's nicer to restore that width.
Yeah,
Keep
Yeah.
the,
The only drawback to the width is ATVs wind up with more speed because it's all nice and smooth like a highway. So you go-
yeah, okay, well, that too. So, but
I feel bad for the bicyclists that I come by and I go slow, and I see them coming ahead, and I pull way over into the sticks, because I don't want them to have to go off the dirt path to get out, you know, thinking they need to get out of my way. It's like, I'll go off into the sticks and let them go by and.
well, I was going to tell you that it was last week. I got 2 emails from cyclists, you know, from somewhere, not in the state, and they had really positive things to say. They said, you know, they were a little concerned because, you know, they're very scared of, you know, these big ATVs that are going to mow them down. You know, it's just like, you know, being on the road or something. They have no experience with anybody, so they're concerned. And they actually wrote back and said that they were so pleased to see how pleasant everybody was in the ATVs, and they waved and they let them have space and all this, that it was no problem at all. And I thought, well, this is great. This is, you know, this is what it should be for, you know, if we're going to share it, we want to, you know, be, you know, have good experiences. And it just seems like, you know, positive responses like that, just, you know, it just feels really good.
99% of ATV riders are gonna pull, or are gonna,
Yeah, and 99% of the bikers too, but there's that 1% of everybody that's just a bunch of jerks.
we're gonna give,
Only
you know,
takes one.
yeah, the ATV guys, 99% of them, they're gonna give them the hard pack spot, and we're gonna go somewhere else in the grass or wherever.
Yeah.
Because you guys are pedaling, you know, we're pedaling in a different way, you know.
Yeah.
So ours is much easier to pedal than yours, so.
Yeah.
Let us kind of get out of the way and, you know, you guys stay where you want, not where you want.
State, yeah. Well, that's an important thing. We have a conference coming up in October for the Rail Trail Coalition, and one of the speakers is going to talk about sharing trails. And, you know, it's not October yet, but it was one thing I was going to, you know, ask you as far as, you know, your ATV riders and, you know, what I remember once they say, well, you know, the bikes are all over, they see it like a squirrel, like, do I go over here? Do I go over here? So I say, okay, hold your ground, stay on the right side, you know, just move right along. The ATV will slow down and will, you know, we'll give you space, but don't travel all over the place.
We'll maneuver around you, you guys don't try to maneuver around us,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean.
Mhm.
Because it's much easier for us to move than it is for you guys to try to move, but then the ATV comes back to the center because you've moved.
Yeah.
And then back, and then it makes
And
sense.
then, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're, you know, we're going to try and start, you know, publicizing this. This is what you do. It makes it easy for everybody. So good. Okay.
So the good rule of thumb is, and take this the way I mean it, stay in your lane.
Yeah. Stay in your lane.
So, I mean, if you're on the right-hand side of the road, you
Mhm.
know, on a bike, or if you're in the middle, yes, move to the right, but then stay in that right-hand lane, and then the ATVs will go around you.
Yeah, the consistency is important. If someone stays steady and you know they're not gonna, jump out or anything. So that's important. Okay,
Sometimes one of the bicyclists goes to the grass and then they can't go on the grass, so they come back to the trail.
yeah, and it's,
That's when that's when they get confused.
yeah, the squirrels.
So what are you doing? So,
Well, it's good to hear that you've had good feedback, so.
yes, I'm very glad to hear, whether it's on our trail or any trail, it's great.
Yeah, I'll forward those to you so that you have those to just so you know.
Very good. So, all right. Anything else anybody wants to talk about?
The only thing I had was the poker run. I know that you and I have kind of tossed it around, but length of the poker run, I know that it'd be nice to go up into Hammerland and come back. You're talking, it's about a 50 mile, I'm guessing, maybe a little bit more once you get up into Hammerland.
Did you ride the whole thing at one point? Leisurely from like Littleton down to.
That's what I did last year. I parked at Littleton and then
Right, you drove down.
drove the ATV down and clipped it as I was going down.
Yeah,
What did we figure that was a couple hours or was it longer than that or?
Yeah, a couple of, I think.
I
I
think
had
3 hours.
So if we had to hammer, then we'll just have to figure that out.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a small loop. I mean,
Unless they get into unless they get in the middle.
I mean, I think it would be good because it would help showcase our whole system.
Yeah. So.
and there's a couple, good picnic areas up top. I mean, place
Yeah,
up top to do the card clip.
I mean,
I mean,
is it too early to start registration at 8 and leave at 9?
Shouldn't be,
And then you could do, like, everyone be back by 1.
right, because last time we were back by 2 and everybody's like, where is everybody?
Yeah, and then the people that do get back earlier at 12,
They can
you kind of have lunch and you're already done with it, but you're not pushing everybody into the afternoon.
Mhm.
And so I think I was the first one back. So I only had to go one way. I didn't have to go up and back.
Yeah, I mean, it is a long ways to go up and back.
It is.
But-
So maybe, I mean, worst case scenario, we could do in by 1.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know,
And if you haven't made it up there, you get an idea how far up you're going. Anyway, get an idea of what time you're getting up there. And if you're not gonna make it back by 1, shorten your trip and come back. And we'll still give you cars, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just the ones that leave late, or later, I should say.
that was the only thing I had, just because I know Eric had talked to us last year, and he really wanted to go up in there, and I can't blame him. It's
Yeah.
a neat part of our trail system because it's different
It's
than just the railroad. And so I think it'd be good to showcase that. It's just,
Joe sent me, it says usually registration starts at 9, and we ended up having to wait for 1, which
That's right. It was a group that was.
yeah, there's that was.
she got totally lost is what happened. She wound up, I think the first corner, she missed it, wound up all the way on the other end of Clark Pond.
Yeah,
And then they missed the,
Did we put cards in the first bucket 5? So again, people leaving Littleton, I think that's what we did.
what we can do is, I think the answer to that is white cards for there. And I'll put a different color card in Lisbon, in Littleton. That way, a different color card, you haven't paid for your card. And then you can tell.
Yeah.
yeah, you can tell.
Because nobody else is.
Yep.
You know,
I think that works, and then the punches that each one to have a minute, it works great.
yeah, when we first started doing poker run, they had to have a person at each one, and that's.
I did that.
That's it's counterproductive, because 1, you don't get to ride the poker. 2, you never know when your last rider's out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so.
Okay.
Alright, cool.
Works.
But, cool, yeah, we'll figure it out. And then. We had talked about changing, a little bit, changing hands, we were doing $10 a hand, we want to move that up and do $20 a hand.
Yep.
And then half of it will go to the Augie Fund, half of it will go to the fund, and then whatever else the raffles are. That way we're not doing the poker run during. Augie Fund is to take care of the pavilion. It actually needs a roof. I think there's enough money in it to do the roof, but we should have some more in there.
Yeah, because everything for the poker run goes to Augie's. The 50/50 goes to the club, so
Right.
I
So
think
we
if we up the poker hand $10, we get 10, they get 10,
And
then we're making
then we're making some,
something off of it. Because obviously our bank account, we gotta start doing some kind of fundraising, so.
and then, like I say, the raffle for the two
Yeah.
things, like I say, if I think we put that up. I think we put that up ahead of the raffle, just like you said. The electronic shuts off the night before, and then we, whatever of those 200 tickets and stuff, we'll sell it at the poker room, draw that. And if for some reason it goes really fast, we'll just put the other one in there with it, with a different. one. But, I mean, you're not that far away as part of the, for the poker room.
Like surprise for the poker run.
Usually it's,
Right, didn't they donate it back last year?
yeah, the guy that won it donated it back to the club. But I believe it's half of the poker, half of, so in other words, it's like a 50-50 almost,
Okay.
but the winner gets. I think it's half of the money. And I'm also working on, if the campground that we got the large prize from last year has been sold. But they think they can do the same thing. It's not a local group anymore. We had a 3-day cabin rental. Non-holiday week, that they offered. It was like a $700. I think it's like $600 or $700, but for 3 days.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've given that up for the worst hand, and we figured out that poor guy, the guy with the worst hand was getting the best prize. So we wound up with the second hand. We gave the first person, you could take the money over the camping, and then the second prize got whatever the difference is.
Yep.
And then the guy gave it back anyway. So, good. So we'll put that out in email. So that we know what's going on as far as poker room.
Yeah.
If do we have one more in between?
Yes.
Yeah,
Should.
should be,
We should be
beginning September.
Yeah.
The 11th, when the poker one is the 16th.
So
I got one more meeting in between.
yeah, so I went, because I know North Country ATV Club used, I think it's called My Even, for their gun raffle that they did just recently. And that's how they did their online sale of tickets for fundraising. So I went in and set one up for one of the bikes. And so it's pretty simple. You can either pay the credit card fee as a club, we can pay that, or you could put it on the person buying the ticket. So at $20 a ticket, the processing fee was like $2.20, I think. So it was like $22.20.
So when you buy one ticket, it's $2 and it's $22.20.
Yeah.
Instead of,
Or if you buy multiple tickets, then you're only paying that transaction fee.
so if you want to buy, say 5 tickets, it's $100 plus $2 and change.
Yeah, and then it puts their name in a big list, so you can export it out as an Excel sheet or whatever, and that's what we would bring with us to the poker run the next day. So if you sell tickets to the poker run, you just add it all into
And you want.
the bottom, so everybody's still represented. And then it's like $30, I think, to transfer money out of the account for some kind of transfer, but it's price of doing an online raffle, so. That was one of the cheaper
Yeah.
fees, I guess, because it's free to host the fundraiser, so. Yeah. I mean, we'll throw a shot.
See what happens for me.
Yeah.
But, all right, any other questions, business things?
That's all I got. I make motion to, in the meeting.
At 7:49. Perfect, I second, and I approve. Thank you, Mary Ann. I'm gonna send you a list of where we've gone in town in Woodsville, just so that we don't double up,
Okay,
okay? They're just, I just wanted to, it's never good to do two people same place.
exactly, yeah.
I'll get that sent to you too in an email.
Okay,
And-
perfect.
And Matt just has that in his email, probably, so I'll just fix it up, so.
Yeah,
So you'll get the letter and I'll get you the places that we've dropped off already.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right, thank you very much. And I'll try, I'll be able to get a check to you by the end of the month to just, moving the money around and everything. So that'll be great and done.
Perfect. We appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, well, I appreciate everything you guys have done. It's been great. Really, really good.
And hopefully it'll be nice and really, really wide when we get done with this, because that's part of what I'm gonna ask him to do, is widen this thing way up.
Yeah, excellent.
So
The-
good. So, but very good. We will see you next month, I am sure.
Okay, all right. Take care. See you out there.
All right, thanks.
Okay, goodbye.